Awesome. It worked. Hey guys, it's Caleb, Stain and Seal Experts. Please give me a thumbs up and let me know you're here. First time I did an intro countdown timer, so hopefully it worked well and hopefully you guys can hear me. I see we do have quite a few people watching, so please give me the thumbs up, hit me up in the comments and let me know you can hear me. Today I've got something on my mind that I think is on everybody's mind, and it's got to do with where we are, the change of seasons, the change of economy, the change of pace in the business world and the environment that we're in. So let's talk about it. I've got a couple of notes here, and first I'm going to start with some feedback I got. I posed a question earlier in the Facebook group, and I've not checked it yet because I wanted to wait and have the freshest information. But I asked the question, what are your biggest struggles with closing, when it comes to closing new jobs right now? What are you doing with your leads? Basically was a question I asked. So let's see, there it is. And we got some answers. We got quite a few answers actually. Actually, I told you wrong. We got one answer from Jeff Conopac. Lead flow is down, but closing rate is higher. Issue is still too much work and not enough workers. So I will say that that's not really the answer I was looking for. I was looking for a little more feedback. So I'm just going to go right into it. So the first problem that everyone's seeing right now is they're not getting as many leads as they were maybe 1 year ago, maybe 6 months ago, maybe 2 years ago. And they're not closing as many jobs as they were a little while ago. And so that's an issue, and it's scaring some people to death. Some guys have not been in the industry, some ladies have not been in the industry or in a industry at all. And maybe this is their first couple of years of business. And so I just want to give you a little reassurance that what we're going through is normal. So let's talk about it. How do we close more jobs right now? First thing we got to do is ask ourselves a question. What are we doing with the leads that come in? Raise your hand, give me a comment if in the last 2 or 3 years you have returned the call or gotten with a lead, spoke with a prospective customer, and they said, wow, you're the only person who answered the phone. You're the only person who called me back. And guess what? You got the job. How many people waiting for a show of hands, please in the comments, please give me a thumbs up, give me something. Let me know that that's the case, because I think it's the case for everyone. And what's happening is all those people who are not answering their phone are busy, and they're so busy and they don't have to answer their phone because they got enough work coming in that it's all going to be all right. If I don't get these 5 calls today, 5 more people are going to call tomorrow and I'll just get those jobs, right? It's been going around a lot, and somebody says right here in the comments, it's happened a lot. This is normal. This is not what happens when we get busy. And so what that means is that lots of work, big economy, free money going out everywhere in the economy, the housing market's booming. That means a lot of the sins in my business and your business are covered up with just lots of work coming in. That's normal. That happens. And the people who really work on getting their processes dialed in during that busy time are the ones who will reap the rewards in the slow time. So let me tell you what happened in 06, 07, 08, 09, and 2010. Because this is a similar thing that's happening right now. A major shift in the economy happened, and we're having a major shift right now. It doesn't mean we're going into a recession or that we're going into 7 years of famine. It just means we're going into a shift. Things are changing. They may be normalizing, actually. It kind of feels a little more like it should be to me. We're having to actually work to get business. So, and that's good. We need to work for it. But anyways, in 06, things were good. In 07, the economy was booming, better than it had ever boomed in the fence business. I was in the fence business at that time. In 07, we were charging more money we were ever charging before for our business, for our services. Sound familiar? And then this bubble burst. I don't remember exactly when the date was, when the bubble burst. Let's see, housing bubble. We can look that up. And So the housing bubble burst, and then we wound up in this situation where a lot of layoffs happened. Everybody was getting laid off. Were these people that were really great workers and they were the people that made businesses operate and companies couldn't operate without them? Well, probably not, or they wouldn't have been laid off, right? We've seen layoffs here recently. You know, when companies get all this extra fat on the payroll, and the economy comes into a crunch, or it looks like there might be a crunch, they're going to trim fat. That's normal. That's a normal part of business. But anyways, in '08, all those guys and ladies came on the market. And so just overnight, there was 100 new fence companies in Nashville. Everybody built fences. And so what happened to our pricing? Well, our pricing changed. All of a sudden, our phone wasn't ringing as much because the housing bubble had burst. And all of a sudden, everybody who builds fence or babysits or mows grass or whatever was also now our competition. And so what we found was, well, we used to charge this price, but now there's 17 people cheaper than me at that price. We've been in business for 20 years at the time. So what did we do? Well, basically, we had to tighten up. We had to tighten up on a lot of areas. We had to continue marketing. And we had to, in fact, we increased marketing, and we had to check our prices, and we just had to get better at being salespeople. So when you get a lead, what are you doing with it? Are you getting back quickly? Number one thing you can do, get back to your prospects quickly. When they call in and they say, hey, they raised your hand, I want to do business with you, or I'm thinking about doing the service that you offer. Can you help me? Are you making them wait? Are you making them jump through hoops? Or are you getting right on the ball? Are you getting right onto it? Because if you know, there's 4 different buyer types generally. Where's my hand? There it is. There's 4 different types of buyers out there. I am only one type of buyer. For me, I want to just, the first person I call, I want them to be professional and I want them to just do it. I assume they know what they're doing. I just want them to do it. But there's other people that need, you know, lots of information. There's other people that just want to get it done. There's people that, that would be me, the first type I talked about. There's people who need facts and figures. There's people that need referrals, you know, words of affirmation, referrals from other people. So you need to check the box first for that first person with getting on the ball quickly and get them some information, get them a presentation, get them a quote. You cannot sell a job if you do not create a proposal. So second thing, you got to create a proposal. And then never leave them hanging. So once you send a quote, if ideally for me, if someone calls into my company and they're looking to have their fence stained, I'm going to pick up the phone. And if I have time and I'm not just terribly busy, I'm going to go ahead and look up their address. I'm going to say, hey, can you send me some pictures of the fence right now? I'm going to look at the pictures of the fence. I'm going to look overhead. I'm going to look on the Zillow listing, whatever it might be. And then I'm going to give them a quote. I'm going to produce a quote. I'm going to tell them the number right over the phone. I'm going to email them the quote while I'm on the phone with them and say, hey, did you get it? Can you see it? Open it up for me. Let's talk about it. Let's go over this. I want to make sure you understand everything. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Go over that whole proposal with them. And then I'm going to tell them when I can do it. Once they understand everything and don't have any more questions, I'm going to say something like, it looks like we can do it, but October 22nd or November 1st. Which one of those dates would be better for you? I'm going to ask the question. If they say, hey, I really want to talk to my wife about this first, I'll say, oh, okay. What do you think she's going to say? What do you think she's going to say? You've been living with her for 20 years. What do you think she's going to say, man? You already know what she's going to say. And I'm never arrogant. I'm never cocky. But I just ask the question because what we're trying to do when we ask these questions, and this isn't a sales training, but just 2 little tips here. If I'm asking that question, what do you think your wife would say? What I'm really trying to do is I'm trying to find out, does he really need to talk to his wife and see what she says? Because I respect that. Or is he just, the price is too high, scheduling's not right, he doesn't like us for some reason, or maybe he doesn't have the money at all. Or does he just really need to talk to his wife? And I want to find that out. And so usually asking those kind of questions, giving him a date, asking him what his wife would think, those things like that. We're just trying to get to the bottom, to find out, to make sure there's no hidden objection there. Because if it's really a wife situation, well, I can wait till he talks to his wife. I can call back the next day and say, hey, did you talk to your wife? Or why don't we get on a call with me, you, and your wife? We can work through that. But if they're afraid to tell me, if they're lying about something, not to call my customers a liar, but a lot of times people will tell lies because they're uncomfortable with the truth. And the truth might be that they just don't want to tell me it's too expensive, or they just don't want to tell me that they don't feel comfortable with me. They don't want to tell me that it's really out of their budget. They don't want to tell me that it cost, we thought this was a $500 project, but it's $3,000. They don't want to tell me that. This makes some people uncomfortable. So they'll give the old excuse, well, I got to talk to my wife, or I got to talk to my husband, or etc. You understand? So we just want to make sure that if they give us objection, I need to talk to my wife. Is it really do they just really need to talk to their wife, or is there a hidden objection? I hope that makes sense. Another thing, we want to make sure that if they are talking about price, is it too expensive? They say, your quote's just so high. Is it too high, or are they complaining? Because a lot of objections are not objections. We see them as objections, but they're not. They're a complaint. And what I mean is, how many of you have ever been to the coffee shop and you ordered a coffee, and it was $13 or whatever, or bought an iPhone, or bought gas, and you were like, holy cow, dang, it used to be half this price. What happened? You still buy it though, right? It's a complaint. It's not an objection. So remember that. The next thing we want to do is, if you can't close them right on the spot, and I recommend you do take the time to get them closed right then and there, because they've got you on the phone. You're the guy that can do it. Why don't we just go ahead and get it done? But if you have to wait and you can't close them on the spot, we want to follow up. And I do want to say about closing and about sales techniques and things like that. We never want to be the guy who can sell ice to an Eskimo, because an Eskimo does not need ice, and it would be unethical to sell someone something that they don't need. And it would also be unethical to manipulate people. It would be unethical to force somebody into something that they don't need. So we never want to do that. We never want to be so good with sales techniques that all they can say is, well, like, you beat me. There's nothing I can say. You have an answer for everything. And all I can say is yes, but I really don't want to say yes. You don't want to back people into a corner like that, because it makes them feel uncomfortable. But you can help them along and be an assistant buyer with them, and things of that nature. We want to follow up. So I'm going to follow up the same day. If I send a quote out, I'm going to follow up the same day. I like to send a text message to them while I'm on the phone with them, just to say, hey, thanks for taking the call. Here's our website, etc. Whatever. Send them something while I'm on the phone with them. It increases close rates substantially, and there's a fact and figure behind that I could get for you later. But secondly, you want to follow up later in the day or the next day, or both ideally. You want to follow up, and if you don't know what to say, just call and say, hey, this is Caleb, Stain and Seal Experts. I quoted the fence staining job for you yesterday. I just wanted to make sure you had time to review it, and I didn't miss anything, and make sure there's no other information I could get for you. And see what they say. A lot of times they'll go, oh, by the way, yeah, does this come in black? Does it come in brown? Or when could you start? We talked about it, but I can't remember. Or you might find that, hey, I never actually got the quote. You said you sent it. I thought I had it, and I've lost it. Can you send it to me again? Because we're ready to do it. I've heard that one a lot. We lost the quote, but we're ready to do it. And continue following up. I think it takes 7 to 12 touches to close a job. To close most sales. So are you giving it that 7 to 10 touches? Are you giving every opportunity what it deserves? So when I do follow-ups, I like to call, I like to text, and I like to email. So if I'm calling somebody, I'm going to text them too. And if I can't get them, I'm going to leave a message. Then I'm going to text them, and I'm going to email them. I'm going to hit them all three. Why not? Why wouldn't you? Technology age, I'm going to hit them with at least 3. So every time I do 1 touch, it's 3 touches. If I've done 10 touches, or if you've done 10 touches and I've done my 3 every time I touch them, I've done 30 touches. So I've outworked you just because I sent, copy and pasted into my phone twice, an email and a text, or not necessarily copy and paste, but a similar message. So there's that. Another technique that you can use if you've worked with people and they're kind of kicking the can, they're not really doing anything. This one is just to get a customer that you can't get an answer out of. Because the worst thing for me is I want to hurry up and get to know, because I'm going to follow up. And if anybody of you have ever worked with me, you know, I'm going to call you. I'm going to keep calling you. Because if you keep talking to me and you keep telling me you're thinking about it, well, I think you're thinking about it. So I think it's my job to follow up, because that's what a good salesperson does. So I'm going to keep following up with you. But if the answer is no, you want to get to it as quickly as possible. I think some people say you want to get to know N-O, you want to get to know N-O so that you know K-N-O-W. So we're not wasting time. And so I talked to a guy today about the same thing. I said, hey man, and I just wanted to make sure, you know, I'm going to keep calling you because that's my job. I'm going to keep calling you. But if the answer is just absolutely no, it's not going to hurt my feelings. Let me know if that's the case. And then I won't waste any more of your time. And he kind of laughed and he said, no, you got a good point. He said, we're about 75% there. We're going to do business with you. And I said, that's fair enough. Is there anything I missed? Is there any other information I can get for you? He said, no, we're good at this time. And I said, I'll talk to you again in a few days. And I left it at that. So if you can get them to know in that follow-up process somewhere along the way, you've saved yourself time, because what that means is if they told you no, that just means great. You can move on to someone else who you can help. So don't be afraid to get to know. In fact, I'm almost always looking for the no. I'm not looking for the yes. So do that. Now, as far as some other tips and things that will help you to be the contractor that they choose, because they're going to go with somebody. I like to educate my customer, but I don't like to over-educate them. There's nothing I hate worse with my personality type than if I need a new water heater and the guy comes over to give me a price on the water heater and he wants to educate me about how water heaters are made, where they come from, how much it's going to cost per year to run it, how much the competitor's unit. I don't care about all those details. How much is the water heater? I need it. My kids are taking cold baths, you know? So I don't want a lot of details, but some customers do want details. And so you need to have some discernment to know when you're talking to somebody, is this person pulling their hair out because you won't let them get a word in edgewise and you're killing them with data, or are they loving it? They want to hear it, because some people, they want to know the figures. They want to know the things. So educate your customer any chance you get, but don't over-educate, and don't come off like you're a professor, because they know you're not a professor. Just be an honest person with them. And when I say a professor, I mean don't try to sound like you're the smartest scientific whiz on wood restoration, because nobody really is. I mean, it's wood we're dealing with here, so we don't want to make it too complicated. And I think I was talking to Mandy about this earlier, and she said make a recommendation. I love it when I'm working with a contractor and they make a recommendation, because I feel like they're in tune with the project, they're in tune with what I want, but they also have my best interest in mind. So if you're trying to close a customer and you look in their backyard and maybe they want something, or they're not really sure what they want, or they just want to do the right thing of preserving their stain, you know, their fence with stain or their deck with stain or their log home, make a recommendation. Say, you know, you picked a transparent color, but I'm really going to want to recommend a semi-transparent to you, because you're going to get twice the life out of it. Or maybe your wood is a little older, you've waited just a little longer than we should have probably for this project. So go ahead and go with a semi-solid on this one, and it's going to cover better, it's going to last a little longer. It's probably going to give you more of the desired look that you're going for. And that also leads me into setting expectations. Before I go to setting expectations, I just want to say this, quote, pros make recommendations. Attorneys make recommendations. Professionals make recommendations. So be a professional. Make some recommendations. Set clear expectations with your customer. If they've got a 14-year-old fence, they want the cheapest washing option possible, and they want to put clear on it when they're done, or cedar tone, let them know it's probably not the best, because because maybe it's not going to pop like a brand new fence. Clear sealers or transparent finishes are really made for brand new wood or for high-end projects that you really want to show off the nice wood and make it pop. Your fence is 14 years old. You may really like the outcome better if you go with X or Y or Z. So that is an option that you can do. Is you want to be sure and set clear expectations, and those expectations need to be around the finished product. They need to be around the timing. They need to be around the process. Hey, we take a 50% deposit. We need a signed contract. We need you to initial here, and here. We need you to select your color choice before we come out, and it needs to be on the contract signed, because we don't want to get the color wrong. If we have rain delays, we're not going to be able to get to you, but we may have to postpone the project. We need you to talk to the neighbors for us. We need you to have the grass cut. We need you to have the pets up. We need you to have the Corvette parked in the garage. XXX, whatever those expectations are that you need to set. You need to set them, and then you need to let them know, hey, any headaches that might come up, any issues. Hey, you know what? If we get overspray on the house, we're going to mask. We're going to do everything possible. But if we get some overspray on the house, I want you to know we can fix it. Mistakes happen. We're human, but we use products that are designed to be used on the big stage. They're designed to be used by contractors who do a lot of volume. And so it's a product that if it does get on something, it's designed to be able to come off. So if we get it on your car, on your concrete, if we get it on your air conditioner or on your windows or your vinyl siding, we'll get it off. And I always, in my business, it is my reputation on the line, so I'm always willing to bend over backwards and lose money to make it right. So, and I always let my customers know that. I don't say it quite like that unless I have to, but I do go a long way to let them know, to set that expectation that says, hey, if we mess this up, we are going to fix it no matter what. And that's why people call us over and over, because we do mess up sometimes, but we do fix it every time. So lastly, if they look you up, are they going to find you? Do you have a web presence? Social media, website, what are those things online? Business directories, your Google Plus page, your Facebook, your Instagram, blah, 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 all this stuff online. Are you doing that? Can they find you? If you're trying to scale your business, that means more crews, more jobs. You're going to have some kind of web presence. So I recommend you stay on top of those things and do them. If you think you're too busy, I'm going to call your bluff, because I used to run 6 days a week staining fences with me and one helper. I kept 100 to 120 jobs on the books, and I did all the websites, all the sales, all the billing, all the everything, all the emails. So I know you have time to do it. You just got to get it done. So if you don't know how to build a website, figure it out. Your business isn't doubled because you don't know how to build a website. Your business hasn't doubled because you don't know how to do social media. Your business hasn't doubled because you don't know how to do a Facebook ad. Figure those things out. Skills make you money. So you need to figure those things out, and because that's what's going to grow your business. So a little tough love there. Do it, because it is required of you. Do the things today or now that is required of your future, or that your future requires of you. So do those things. That's pretty much what I wanted to say. We did make a change in our service business, and I'm going to have a guest come on in a couple of days to talk about what we did. So we saw a little change in the economy. We saw a shift in people's buying patterns. They're more normalized from what I remember back in the day. And so I'm not at all worried about it. I know, things may get a little tighter. You can no longer buy a house and hold it for 2 years and make $400,000 when you move. I mean, that was a fun time for a lot of people, right? And it gave a lot of people a lot of extra money, but it wasn't real. Like that's not normal. And so we're just figuring out that, hey, we have to work for small business. If it was so easy, everybody would be doing it. So remember that. We got to work for it. This is normal. Has it slowed down? Yes, this is normal. Is it harder to close jobs? Yes, this is normal. Do I have to maybe check my margins and bid my jobs a little tighter? Yes, this is normal. Does it mean that I need to cut my costs in half everywhere and I need to be the cheapest guy in town? Probably not. It may mean that you need to actually raise your prices to cover your margins because you're getting less work. You got to figure it out. You need to sit down and look at your books to figure that out. But know your numbers. That's very important. So I'm going to hit a couple of comments. '07 through '09 were my 3 biggest years to date for my fence company. Same for us. What happened was we had all this turmoil of new people coming on, more competition, more everything. But another thing that happened was a year or 2 years in, all those people went out of business. And a lot of companies that were really big and strong companies went out of business during that time because they didn't do the things that I'm talking about, and lots of other things, not just these things, but they didn't do them. They had spent 20 years just growing like crazy, not saving money, not getting processes right, not just blowing through employees rather than training. And when the little bit of a crunch came, they shut their doors. And there's a lot of companies in Nashville that aren't around anymore. And I think that happened nationwide. So whoever said great information, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Somebody said, hey, and it's not a no, it should be a not yet. Learn that at State and So University. Well, maybe that is the case. Sometimes it is a no, though. So Gorilla Power Wash and Stain says, Caleb, I appreciate the stain kit you sent. Definitely selling this as the premium stain we offer. I would love it if anybody who needed a stain kit would reach out to me. We'll be glad to help you with fan decks, samples, brochures, whatever you need. Glad to help anybody we can. Love to be the premium option, but would love to be the only option. We would love it if you buy all your stain at one place. You get better prices because your volume goes up, and we will work with you on that any way we can. We'd love to get all your business. Thank you again, Gorilla Power Wash. And then another Facebook user says, I switched gears and focused on the commercial and industrial sector. Nothing wrong with that. You can definitely do that, change gears, and happy to talk about commercial work and industrial work, or maybe a little bit different work. So that's something that can definitely be done when things get tight. So thank you again, Gorilla Power Wash. I saw your other comment, but that's all I got, guys. Think about this, do the work. You're going to have to work harder. Again, you can't own a house for a year and make 400 grand on it anymore. You can't go buy a new truck, drive it for 6 years, and then sell it for 5 grand more than you bought it for 6 years ago or 5 years ago. Things have changed. People are just going to be a little more thoughtful with their money. They may be a little more picky. They may be a few more things. That's normal. That's normal. People have been so unpicky compared to what I remember. The last 3 or 4 or 5 years, people have been so just whatever. They used to be very picky. They used to be concerned. They were frugal buyers. They spent their money wisely. It was a big decision when we bought something. In the last, like I said, 4 or 5 years, it's just been whatever. People are just like, just do it. Just bill me. They don't even meet you. They just do it all on the internet, on the phone. And that's changed. So if you came into the industry during that time, this is just new territory to you. But just find somebody who's been around the block before and talk to them about it, and they'll say, oh, this is normal. We're going to be okay. So now, having said that, I don't want to give you false hope that says, oh, you'll be fine if you do nothing. You must get up off your butt and do it. You got to do it. So last thing, I said we're going to do another series on this, or another podcast. I'm going to talk about what we did in our company just recently in the past couple of months. We made a few changes, and I'm going to have somebody come on to talk about what we did and what it did to our close rates. It increased our close rates dramatically. Our close rates went way up with just a little bit different way of handling leads. We added a service that we didn't offer before to cover rainy times or down times in our service business. Not necessarily something that we really wanted to do, but it was something that we said, hey, you know what? This is going to make up for rainy days. This is going to give us revenue that we couldn't otherwise make. And so and it's not Christmas lights. So, and it's not power washing. So I'm going to have that podcast coming out probably end of this week or next week. So be sure to check it out. If you're a first time listener, check out Staining University on Facebook. It is the biggest wood care private Facebook group in the world. Every brand of stain, every stain application, method, technique, and professional is in that group. So if you got questions about whatever your project or your business is in the stain and seal world, let us know in the group, and somebody there will be glad to help you. If you're thinking about starting a staining business, or you're looking to add staining revenue to your already business, either your power wash, your fence building, your log home building business, whatever, or if you want to start pre-staining, maybe you just want to start a business where you just stain lumber for people and you do it in your shop because you got some spare time, look us up. Go to stainandsealexperts.com or realgoodstain.com. We're happy to help. Give us a call. Always have a support line available to help people with their stain and seal and wood care questions. So happy to help. And if you want a staining 101 guide, because you want to get in the business, hit us up. We will get you one. We have a digital version and a physical version. And that book will give you a lot of free insights on how to get a staining business, the opportunity, the niches, the how to bid, how to price yourself, how to do wood restoration, how to do pre-staining, log homes, etc. All of it's in there for fencing and decking. And there is some information on the products we make too. So that's that. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please share it and like it. That's the only thing that we ask, is that you share and like our show. It is a free way that you can help us grow this. If you know somebody, maybe you know a young person that needs a job and they just don't know what to do. They're thinking about starting their own business. Maybe the stain and seal business is a good one. Maybe you could pass them our way. Maybe you know somebody who's got a big fence company and they're staining and they're having trouble with the products they use, or they're worried about, the stains smell bad and they're worried about solvents and things like that. That may be a health concern. We're here to help. We can help with that. So that's it. Check us out, realgoodstain.com. I want to thank our sponsor, Expert Professional Wood Care. I'm wearing the Expert Stain and Seal hat today, but we have the 3-step system that we use here in Nashville, and that is the cleaning, the brightening, and the penetrating oil-based stains. You can see the sun shining on this bucket over my shoulder here, however I can point. And thank you for listening to the show. Please put your comments in the bottom of the page here. We do look at the comments, and that is how we find out what you want to know, so we can do more episodes. See you guys on the next one. Thanks.